starting video transmission. Post a tweet, and we're live.
And we're live.
We're gonna do it live, just like Sean Hannity.
Just like Sean. I'll do it
Wait,
live.
that's not Sean Hannity. That's Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
Different weird
Yes.
dude. Anyway, shall we, Robert?
We shall.
I guess we should check and make sure that we're actually going. But I think we are. I think we've got that much handled.
I think
now.
yeah. As long as we don't
trust
have
us.
double echoes, we'll be okay.
I love that.
What did it say? Oh, and Schroeder's kid wants to come on the show.
Oh yeah.
I said so. Next week I'll be gone the whole week, so we won't be able to do anything next week. But the 13th I'll be home. So I said maybe we could have him on the 13th. I think it's like 10.
Yeah. All right, we're working. We're live.
So
we're good.
like his point of view and all kinds of stuff like that. So that'll be cool. All right, this action-packed
point of
special
view.
event finale. All right.
Here we go.
On this episode of Bantha Milk, we go. No, I don't like
Oh
that.
no.
Oh no. How do you go from on this episode of Bantha Milk and the action-packed special event finale? We review. There we go. Record. On this episode of Bantha Milk, we review the action-packed special event finale of Kenobi. Intro music.
Wait, that's not it.
What? He's no good to me, Dad.
Intro music. Intro music.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
Once again, we're here, Rob. How you doing?
We are here.
Bantha Milk Podcast. We're back, and I got to tell you, we're entering in another one of those sad moments in Star Wars world. Is the time between
Yes.
Star Wars content. It's a bummer, but we did just finish. We are completed with our I guess you could say season 1 of Obi-Wan,
because we
'cause I
don't
think
know if
it's-
there's a season 2.
I
or
think it's
not.
pretty clear we're gonna have a season 2 here, but we can talk all about that when we talk
Yeah.
about the episode. But
Yeah.
welcome. How you doing, Rob? We're back here.
I am wonderful.
We're
we
done
are
with our
back.
school year.
We're done.
You're going to
We're-
Star Wars land pretty soon,
Star
right?
Wars land. Yes,
Ooh,
there
I
will
gotta
be
get- Ooh, I'm gonna remind me. I want to get a lightsaber.
Okay.
Can you get me a lightsaber?
Yeah,
Or get
I'll
you some
get you a light- yeah.
Ooh. I want to
So-
put it in my classroom. I wonder which one I should get.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Remind me before we
I
go.
will remind you, and I'll
All
I'll
right.
call you while we're there. We'll be there on Thursday. Because
I was thinking
apparently
Mace Windu. Mace Windu's is pretty cool.
Mace Windu's is pretty cool.
I don't know.
But some people have said that sometimes they're out of stock of things.
Yeah, like the big ones probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, you'll have to tell me what
I'll
they
have to
have when
tell
we
you.
get there.
Yeah. So
Either way,
I'm very excited about that because when we booked our trip, we weren't able to book the Salvi's Workshop Build Your Own lightsaber. But my amazing wife was able to book it yesterday or 2 days ago. So, bam! I'm
so
gonna
you have to
come
like book
home
an appointment for that. I see.
to do that. Yeah, they have a whole thing where there's like.
Have you done it before?
No, I haven't
Alright.
been there since. I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet.
Okay, so
This is all very exciting.
you got
for
to
me.
give us some live blogging from down there.
Yes, I will definitely do that. So yeah, so they it's like 5 different parts of the lightsaber that they give you like 3 or 4 different pieces
Right,
for
the
each
hilt
part.
and like the
Yeah, well, all
crystal
part of
and
the hilt and the
yeah,
crystal and the bottom and all this and blah blah blah.
and you can put it together yourself.
Yeah, and
like
there's this actor who walks you through it and tells you how amazing the Force is, and then everybody turns their lightsabers on at the same time, and they all glow.
what
and
if it
it's-
didn't turn on? Does that mean that you weren't chosen?
That means you're not
You have to
you're not
leave.
one with the Force.
Sorry, get out.
Yep, get out. You paid
no
your
refunds.
yeah, you still paid your $250, but you don't get to keep your lightsaber.
It's an authentic experience.
It
This
is.
is the same disappointment and shame a real youngling would feel.
Exactly.
If the Force rejected them.
Exactly, 100%. So I'm very excited about that. My son and I are going to do it together. We're not doing 2 separate lightsabers, but
You're
we're
going to
going
build your own together. I see.
together. Yes.
Oh,
So we're gonna.
it'll be like a father-son saber.
It will be.
That's nice.
It'll be
You can pass it down, and then one day he can bury it in the sands of Tatooine.
exactly. And all we need then will be a metal detector to find it 10 years later.
You know, if only Grievous could have held out for like another 40 years, all he would need is a metal detector and the planet of Tatooine, and he would have been the happiest
Oh my goodness.
part droid, part human
Yes.
ever.
He would have had
Like
so
all
many
these lightsabers. I wonder, you got to wonder how many lightsabers are just hidden in the sands of
Are
Tatooine.
buried in Tatooine. Yeah.
I mean, we've only met like a handful of Jedi.
And
already
everyone,
we know like all of their lightsabers are just scattered throughout Tatooine.
They're all buried in the sands of Tatooine.
I wonder what it is. Maybe there's like some thing in the Force that draws Jedi there to just like abandon it all.
I don't know. And the one thing, I was watching Ryan Airy's Screen Crush, and he also made a comment about how nobody sweats on Tatooine.
Yeah.
It's a desert planet with 2 suns.
And they're all nice and dry.
And they're all dry.
And meanwhile, the Tusken Raiders wear all this equipment to survive from these 2 suns. And Ben's just out there dry. And he's walking with his really stylish goggles just on
his nice
neck.
Orange goggles around his neck. Not even over his eyes.
He doesn't have any sun rash or anything. He's just like perfectly coiffed.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Pretty strange. So anyway, we are Bantha Milk.
That's what they tell us. And we're here today to discuss the ultimate episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, do you have yourself some Bantha Milk today?
I do. I have the same Bantha Milk we had last time, which is the Little Dog Duck Boy American Pale Ale.
Oh, that was good. I liked that.
It was good. Yeah, I really liked it. There we go.
Ooh, you had a little. There you go. That's how you know it's good. I had a gig last night. And the one thing I've learned at gigs is I don't make enough money to buy drinks at them.
Okay.
So I bring my flask.
I understand.
So I just happen to have that on me. So I've still got some of my bullet from last night from my gig. So cheers to you, my friend. As we go ahead and head into this very interesting episode. It was an awesome episode. I mean, I know do you have any Star Wars news we got to talk about?
I didn't even look up any Star Wars news.
Actually, you know what? Before we get into the review, I did want to mention. So my buddy Dan, who I went to college with, sent me this theory that I guess he found it online, and I really like it. So I just wanted to swing it your way and you tell me, right? So Luke is a total rookie in episode 5, right? In Empire Strikes Back.
Correct.
Right. And he goes and he trains for like a week with Yoda.
Right.
Right. And then he goes and gets his ass handed to him by Vader.
By Vader, sure.
Then in episode 6, he returns as like a superstar, like Chad Mega Jedi, and he's like going toe to toe to him, right?
Right.
So we know that like he had to do some training between, and we know that because he created his lightsaber, right? So there was some sort of training that happened between.
Yes.
So who trained him?
Good question.
So like, sure, he could have found some holocrons, which is I think something that has been mentioned. But don't you think it would make sense for like another Force user out there to train him in the Force, someone who might be who might know Anakin really well and his fighting style and be able to help him fight specifically Darth Vader,
like a girl with
some
Likus or
Liku
something
off her head.
Yeah.
So yeah, his theory is that maybe Ahsoka found Anakin in this time, or Luke in this time,
sure,
and helped train him up. Because when they meet again in Mandalorian, they're not strangers. They clearly have a knowledge of each other.
Yes. I like that theory.
I think that's a pretty good theory. I like that theory a lot because it makes, number one, total sense that she knows Anakin. She knows him better than Luke does. She is more uniquely qualified to teach him to defend himself against him than anyone.
Sure, yeah. Do you think that's a better theory than we're gonna act like we don't know each other anymore? So if you ever need me, call me, but act like you don't know me theory?
Yeah, that was a little weird, right? Like, you mustn't tell anyone.
It was almost like dropping her off out of the white van. Okay, now don't tell anybody what we did in here. This is our secret.
Oh man. Well, I guess that explains that's their way of explaining the way she acts towards him in A New Hope, I guess.
New Hope, yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was great, the episode.
Yeah,
it was really
I
awesome.
agree. I
loved it. I have some issues.
Okay.
Not with necessarily the content, but anyway, let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. Yeah.
I mean, here's your warning, right? If you want to get our sirens ready,
yeah.
There be spoilers coming here. So if you have not seen the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, go do it, dude.
Go do it. While we take this commercial break, go watch the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi and then come back with us.
I bought 6 of those last week.
Nice.
Yeah, they're all in my living room and they work great.
They work awesome. Yeah. I'm very proud because
my pregnant wife especially likes them.
Good.
Because they're masculine yet feminine.
Yes.
And I think that they
and it's good decor.
Yeah, they pull the room together.
Yeah, it's good to have around the house. Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
even though it's insurance for your RV.
Hey, I love having insurance for my RV in my living room. Just on the wall.
Just
sitting on the shelves.
Every letter that comes in,
that's it.
Frame
there
it and hang it up. All right, so let's get started. First off, we had ourselves a hillbilly.
A hillbilly.
He was there for no reason other than to show off that Riva is on the planet.
Yep, they needed someone big and mean and ugly that people are afraid of.
And I was busy, so
and Rob had a thing.
Yeah, I had a thing.
So they found a big, ugly, weird-eyed looking dude who looked like he was a redneck of some sort. And then Riva walked. He was angry and mean, and people were afraid of him. Oh my gosh, he's gonna kill us! And then here comes this like really like shambling in looking gal. She's like holding her wound, and all of a sudden he's like, oh boy.
He's like, what are you gonna do? She force swipes the cup of water out of his hand.
Yeah.
She says, that's what I'm gonna do.
And he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
You explained your point clearly, and I appreciate you enlightening me.
Yes. And in my opinion, then came the worst, no, I'm gonna say second worst acting of the episode.
Okay.
Where's a farmer named Owen? I needed to see him. Yeah. I mean, I understand she's playing this I'm angry type character. I don't like the way she's playing this angry type character. I don't know. It's just me. And we talked about it last week. We talked about all the hate that she was getting. But I think as the season has gone on, I'm seeing more and more of it. Like, I would have played it differently. Then again, I'm not a professional actor and I'm not getting paid to do it. This is how they told her to play it. So this is how she's playing it. But I wasn't fond of the way she delivered those lines. I understand the purpose. And now we see why she's going after Luke.
Right.
It wasn't just because she knew that Luke was the answer. It's because she wanted to kill somebody that she thought Anakin cared about, because Anakin killed all of her friends.
Right. Which I wonder what would have happened, like if she had gone back to Vader and actually killed Luke and like said, hey man, you had a kid, by the way, and he's dead. And
I killed him.
I wonder what, I mean, would have been interesting.
It would have been interesting. I think there would have been a force choke or two in there.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know, because that would have been, I mean, we're postulating theories on an imaginary thing.
Because this I don't know if you know this or not, but this character, Luke, that we speak of, is the main character for the next 6 episodes.
Yeah. Well, 3. And then then there's the other 3 where they like, hey, here's Luke. Come get him. Come get him. Nope. Come on.
You want to see Luke? Okay, we're just going to show you this much of him.
Which is exactly what they did in this series too.
Yes, that is exactly what they did.
Oh boy. So Riva's on Tatooine.
Yeah.
She angry. She looking for Owen and Beru, and Owen and Beru are apparently as ride or die as it comes.
They sure are.
They strap up and they're like, don't mess with farmers. Which is true, man. Like, we were driving out through Atco the other day, and there's this blueberry stand.
Okay.
And it's just blueberries for like $5, and there's no one sitting there. And Pagan's like, what is it, the honor system? And I'm like, listen, you don't mess with a farmer.
Nope.
Like, I'm not going to go there and try and take a thing of blueberries. Nope. I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're strapping. Yeah. You don't mess with farmers.
Yeah. Farmers have shotguns, or in this case, laser rifles.
And I think one of them was a laser shotgun.
Yeah, it was like a sawed-off laser.
Yeah. All right. That's pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
But yeah, no, they got ready to defend. They told Luke to skedaddle.
They said if the, and I like how they hid what was happening. They said, the
Tuskens are coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which is interesting because, like, I guess at this point Luke has no idea. But Luke did see this girl with her lightsaber, right?
No.
Eventually, no, he didn't.
He didn't, because he was running away the whole time. He never looked back.
Interesting.
I'm confused as to how did he fall and hit his head?
I think so. I think he fell off that. It was kind of a weird little.
Yeah, it was like, did he fall or did he take a nap? I'm like, he got tired. He was running. Oh, I'm tired. I need to take a nap.
Listen, man, it's Tatooine.
It's Tatooine.
It might be night, but it's still hot.
It's still hot. Yeah. But nobody sweats.
Nobody.
And then we go cut scene to Leia on the ship, and they're still trying to escape. They're trying to get away. Darth Vader's mega ship is shooting at him, and even the mega ship can't hit as well as the stormtroopers are horrible at shooting as well.
Yeah. Well, they were bobbing and weaving at least.
They were,
so we got a little bit of that.
Yeah, a little bit of that. And
how do you dodge a wrench? If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a laser.
You can dodge
blast.
a laser shot. Yeah. So, and then why send TIE fighters after him, or why jump in your little I don't know what his TIE fighter is called, but whatever.
I think that was the TIE Interceptor.
TIE Interceptor. Why do that when you can just keep
TIE Advanced? Maybe it was the TIE Interceptor. Anyway,
when you can just keep shooting from afar and whatever.
Yep.
But
But that wouldn't let Obi-Wan have all that time to think about his choices.
Right. And Leia console people. She's there
being a leader.
It's still bright white. Her clothes are still bright white.
White is hope. That's the imagery they're going for. That is Leia always wore that bright white, and that's that hopeful brightness. I don't know. That's my guess.
It works for me. And then I did like what's his name? Where did my mouse go? And then so they're talking. Ben's talking, whatever, or yeah, Ben's talking. And then we see Owen and Luke, and now they're shopping.
Yeah, I was convinced that like at some point Luke was gonna hop in his T-16.
Okay.
And like come in and save the day when he ran away.
Okay.
And that's why they went to the parts store, and I'm like, oh, they went to the parts store. There was something. He was there for a speeder thing.
Right.
They mentioned the speeder. We're gonna see but clearly, since like I don't know, we see that Obi-Wan is the one who gives Luke that T-16 figurine that he's playing with.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he got it after that. I don't know.
know.
Either way, I was bummed we didn't see Luke come in and swoop in on his T-16 and like target her like a womp rat. Bullseye her like a womp rat.
Yeah. So and it was like it was just a scene of them shopping to get the guy who
got
Reva threatened, to tell Owen that she's coming for him.
This episode had a big problem with time, like the portrayal of time.
Yes,
Bill was loudly postulating about that to me, which I agree. Like especially at the end, like, hey, I'm fighting Vader, and then 10 minutes later, I'm just gonna pop off at Tatooine.
Yeah,
like I try and tell myself that maybe like, all this stuff was actually happening at different times, and it just wound up this way. But I feel like they could have portrayed it in a way that made more sense because
there was the double fight scene at the same time.
Yeah, Reva was fighting Owen and Beru and Luke, and then Ben was fighting Vader, and then the Vader fight ended, and he hopped in his plane and he flew to Tatooine and helped this fight.
Yeah.
So it just, I'm sure that was actually how the time
fight. If
that's actually how it.
Even jumping the light speed, it still takes time to get there.
And Tatooine's in the Outer Rim, man.
Yeah. So he went very So
I'm gonna go ahead and hope that like they just didn't do a great job. Like what they should have done, which is what Bill mentioned, is that like the Vader scene should have happened.
Right.
Then, it could have been like a couple weeks later, however long later, Reva shows up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But instead of having them all show up at the same time in the show, like back to back, Reva's there, Darth is there, boom, 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 fight at the same time.
Makes for a nice.
Yeah.
Either way. Leia, ship, Ben's like, oh, I got to do some stuff. Who's the guy who's like, no, don't do it, man? He's Ice Cube's son,
Roken.
Yeah, Roken. And
Obi-Wan tries to talk to Qui-Gon again. Still can't get to it. And then he talks to Roken. And I like Roken. I like his character.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a Roken spinoff if we're going to do all these shows, or maybe we'll see him.
Yeah, my guess is we're going to see him again because he literally said, I'm just getting started.
Right.
And you figure this is, I think, 5 or 7 years before Rogue One or Solo.
Okay.
And Solo is with Enfys Nest, and when like the rumblings of the rebellion are just kind of starting. So like this is still a couple of years out, even from like the actual like rebellion really even starting.
Right. So will we see him in what's the next show that's coming?
Andor.
out?
We might see him in Andor because Andor might be taking place around this time.
Yeah, it could be taking place.
So I could definitely see him showing up in Andor.
Okay, good, because I liked him. He was a good character.
Yeah.
They made him out to be a big leader.
Mm-hmm.
So why make him out to be this big leader if we're not going to see him again?
Right.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then
so I guess what, Ben jumps in his ship and flies down to the ground, right? And,
yeah,
and
Ben says, "I'm taking him away. Let's do this."
Throws off his gloves.
Yeah.
Vader pops down, and they have like a redo of the very first conversation they had on Mustafar.
Yeah,
because he walks on up and he goes, "Have you come to destroy me?" Which on Mustafar he said, "Have you come to kill me?"
right.
And then Obi-Wan, in like a really rad, freaking like angry tone, "I will do what I must."
I will do what
which
I
is
must.
what he said.
Yes.
And then he gets in his typical
his stance,
Obi-Wan stance, to which Vader responds, instead of "you will try," he responds, "then you will die."
Right.
So it was just really interesting sort of mirroring of that initial fight. And then, man, that's a fight.
It was a fight, and
like,
it was a very emotional fight too. Because the dialogue throughout the fight is what makes it even more, because just like Darth Vader breathing, Darth Vader's actions, then they're doing a lot of similar moves that we saw in previous episodes,
right.
and also in the flashbacks,
right.
in Kenobi as well. So a lot of that going on. So we see their fighting styles, and Obi-Wan talking to Anakin about, trying to get him to understand that he's angry for no reason, type of thing, and whatever. And then it starts flipping back and forth, which was pretty cool, because then we see some of Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. Then suddenly we see Reva show up and her red lightsaber come out.
Right.
That's when you said, Luke runs away, so he never actually sees her. And then that's when Owen and what's her name? Beru start shooting at her. The house. So there's a lot of like Easter eggs about, oh, this is the room where we first meet Obi-Wan, or we first meet Luke. This is the room where Anakin says that I killed all the Tuskens and the wives and
at the Lars homestead.
At the Lars homestead. And I'm like, yeah, because it's all the same house. Yeah, so of course it's going to be the same room. So
not so much an Easter egg as just keeping attention to detail.
Yeah. Like, so I wonder if those props are the same props from 77, if they put them in a box then and said, we're going to use this again, or if when they did episode 2, if they just were remade. Like, okay, they remade them then, and then they said, okay, we're not going to keep remaking these every time. Because
you can revisit the Lars homestead like in Tunisia, right? It's still set up there and stuff like that. Yeah. So clearly, like, they had to have reset. I doubt they went to Tunisia to film any of this. It was probably on the volume or whatever they call it at their studio. So yeah,
then also in the fight with Reva, Owen falls down, lands on that box, and hurts his leg, which somebody pointed out is why you see him
with a limp
10 years later. But other people have backed the tanks, so farmers can't afford to go. He must have bad insurance.
I mean, if they're farming for water, they probably don't even have enough moisture to make Bacta. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? And they're at the outer rim. Maybe it's hard to ship Bacta in if they don't have enough money. I mean, sure, Boba Fett could do it, but he was a crime lord,
right?
So
yeah,
who knows? Either way.
And then let me go back to the Obi-Wan fight, and Anakin is obsessed with proving himself.
Oh yeah,
to Obi-Wan, constantly trying to prove that he's better than Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and the choreography of the fight is rad. Like he does start out where it's the classic Vader one hand thing, but eventually he shifts to two hands, and I'm like, oh, that's different, right?
Yeah, you could. It's as he gets angrier, you can also see him like swinging harder because he's angrier.
And that's a dark side thing, right? Like the emotions are supposed to fuel you, but that also clouds your judgment sometimes. It was awesome seeing how acrobatic it was. Like we finally got to see an Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight where it's like, okay, these two are badasses.
Yeah.
And like Vader is like doing, it must have been so hard for, I guess that's Hayden Christensen in that costume, But man, it must have been hard to do all that
with
stuff
all
with that helmet on
and all the
like
plastic cape and
the
everything.
cape looked so rad the entire fight. It was perfect. Like every
Yeah.
time he like did a thing, the cape moved perfectly. That had to have been
It had
very
to be
difficult to
CGI.
make it happen.
Yeah. I'm sure if there's a behind the scenes next week, I'm sure we're gonna see that the whole cape was
Yep.
CGI'd or
Oh, yeah.
something because it was flowing too perfectly
It
the
really
whole
was.
time.
But they also expanded on some of the force like powers they use because like
Yeah.
you know Obi-Wan like pulls the thing down when Anakin is like, oh, your power is returned. But then like number one, as he like pushes that huge rock and
Yeah.
it flies.
Yeah.
And then the whole like ground clamp thing where he like makes the ground just kind of sinkhole underneath him.
In, yeah.
Like I've never seen that. That's rad.
No,
That's
yeah.
and I want more of that. I want to see how the force can be used in different ways.
Right.
And then he just starts taking stuff and just slamming on him.
Slamming.
I don't like you.
Yeah.
You're a jerk. This is just for this is for that, and this is for that. And I was just so hoping we'd get like a high ground reference.
He was standing up there.
I was like, come on, man. It's been 10 years. You've been waiting for this moment. You can't say anything about the high ground.
All the Easter eggs and all the things that they've done and all the multiple lines, like Luke in this, he said, I'm not afraid of him. When talking about, you know, the Tuskens, which is the same thing he said in
About
episode
Vader,
6. I'm not afraid of him and Vader. And Obi-Wan said the same line that he said in episode 2. And like they reused so many of the lines. Why couldn't they reuse who has the higher ground now and like give the 2 middle fingers or something like that?
And they already set Vader up to be kind of a sarcastic jerk because like people complained about that line from Rogue One where like Krennic is like, oh, so I'm under, and then and he's like, be sure not to choke on your aspirations. So like he's kind of a sarcastic idiot.
Yeah.
And that would have been a perfect little.
It would have been a perfect line, like who has the higher ground now, and then one more rock.
Yeah, right.
You know, like.
But no, he just gave a little.
Yeah.
Did you really think you could beat me?
And
then something like you failed my master.
Yeah.
And then we get like this, you know, this kind of shot of, you know, Ben is thinking about all the bad things, so he's gonna die. But oh gosh, the shot of good. Here's Leia, and there's Luke, and this is what I'm fighting for. And oh my gosh, and
then he
flies away.
And it was cool. It was like that, almost like a Thor type moment, like a God type moment, where he's like, oh, and all the rocks are up behind him, and it was like
so. I guess he blew him away first. Then he like snuck up on him and started the duel again.
Yeah,
and then like that. You're right, because like at a certain point he just started like heaving stuff at him and then up like this.
Yeah.
And that's another one of those like, yeah, we've seen them make rocks float before, but not like this. You know what I mean? Not in that like thousands of like, this was a very clearly that holy crap, that's a Jedi master. You know what I mean? This dude is more powerful than most of the people we've seen. And you just have it, and you can see it too, because he's throwing it all at him. Vader's like trying to block them all. And he's walking slowly towards him as he does it.
Right.
Which is it's just so rad to see, like he's doing it and then he like goes into the fight. But as soon as like he started beating on his chest thing or whatever,
his respirator,
I knew exactly, because they do this in every single thing where Vader, they need an emotional moment. I'm like, they're gonna slice that helmet open.
Yeah,
we're gonna see part of Anakin's face, guaranteed.
Yeah,
I knew from the moment he hit that, because like we had to have that same emotional impact in real life as we did with the Ahsoka battle in Rebels.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he does his running freaking slice.
Yeah.
And we see Anakin underneath, and it is the coolest freaking thing. Man.
Yeah.
It's so cool. They did it so well.
Yes.
And it was just like the emotion.
Even like when he started beating on the respirator and you start hearing the wheezing.
Dude, not only the wheezing, because the wheezing is the same wheezing from like episode 6.
Right.
But like when he slices his helmet open, you hear that. Plus you hear the same screaming, like wheezing, that you hear when he's burning on Mustafar. Like it, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's Anakin. Like,
and there's a little bit of Darth Vader voice in there still, because some of the voice modulator is there,
which is awesome too, because it proves that like, hey, that big deep voice is put in there on purpose for intimidation, right? Like,
and then there's the Anakin voice behind it, and then that big moment when he's like, when Obi-Wan's like, I'm sorry that I did this, like,
right.
I shouldn't have done this, blah, blah, blah. And then he says,
I'm not your failure.
yeah, you didn't do this. I did
You
this.
didn't kill Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
And the red comes back, like his
Yeah,
eyes change color.
And the blue lightsaber like glow fades away, and then the red lightsaber glow is
and
there.
If you really look at Anakin's face, he looks deranged. Like when he starts saying that, he grins a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that they showed that, because it's like that's the dark side, right?
Yep.
That's what it does. Like that's the point of like the dark side of the Force, is it twists you and it messes you up.
Yeah.
And they show it very clearly there. Like there was a moment probably where Anakin was in the back like fighting.
Yes.
And you saw that, and then he made his choice.
And also, when going back to the cut, when he cut the mask open, he scarred his head, which is why you see the scar later.
Yeah, it was an Easter egg that I saw someone mention. I didn't even put that together.
And back to your eyebrow situation. In this, he doesn't have eyebrows.
Nope.
So apparently Bacta tanks grow eyebrows very well. He can't grow hair anywhere else, but it'll grow his eyebrows back.
Amazing.
Until George Lucas goes back in and re-edits them back out again.
Shaves them out.
Shaves them out again. But yeah, and then the greatest line of the whole fight is when Obi-Wan says, he calls him Darth.
Darth. Yep.
And it's like, at that point, he knows Anakin's gone.
Yep.
That's it. Anakin's gone. You're Darth Vader.
And
I did all I could, and now I'm done. I have nothing else that I can do to try and save you, because you have completely turned to the dark side.
Yep.
And he just walks away.
And he used the term, I love it too, because like there's in Star Wars fandom, there's always salty people, and they've always been like, oh, why'd he call him Darth? Darth isn't a name. Darth is a title. And they kind of retconned it so that like, it was just, but like this was like very like, hey, this isn't Anakin anymore. I'm gonna call you Darth, because like he was almost using it like as a mocking title.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But it's the same thing that Obi-Wan called him in Episode 4. Yeah. He called him Darth then as well,
and that explains why he does it.
Yeah,
and it almost makes it, like I said, like he's mocking him.
Yeah,
like, all right,
yeah,
Darth,
all right,
that's
Darth.
What I'll call you, Darth.
Fine, and I'm not gonna call you Vader,
because Vader would be a sign of respect. That's his name.
Right, that's his name. I'm gonna call you Darth. I'm just gonna call you by the first half of it instead.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was really, really cool.
Yeah, and so the ending is where I get a little bit of my like kind of bummed outness.
Right. So so then at the end of the fight,
he screams Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
right?
Obi-Wan, come back here, type of thing. And he just keeps walking away. I'm done trying to reach out to him. Obi-Wan leaves him. Oh, Obi-Wan leaves him because if he doesn't, then we're done. Then we're done. Then it messes everything else up.
He could have killed him there, but he couldn't.
But he couldn't, because we need him in all the next episodes in the movies.
I was saying that to Pagan like the whole time, like we were watching, like when Luke was running, I'm like, man, I hope Luke makes it.
Yeah,
man, wouldn't it suck if Luke didn't make it and Reva killed him?
And there was even a line that Obi-Wan said to Leia. He said, I think it was to Leia. He said something like, either I'm going to kill him or he's going to kill me, but at least it's going to be done. And I'm like,
no, it won't.
No, it won't.
It really won't, man.
It can't happen that way because you're both still alive. So, so I thought that was funny. Then we go back on Tat. Reva
10 minutes
finds
later.
Luke. 10 minutes later.
10 minutes later, Obi-Wan finds himself on Tatooine.
Yeah, this is the part that I see.
Brush the dust off.
Yeah, brush it. He's like, oh man, I just flew here, and boy, are my arms tired. And then she's like, I failed him. She's so broken that she feels that she failed Darth Vader because he has like mind messed with her so much the way that they do to their inquisitors.
Right.
That she doing the right thing, she feels she's doing the wrong thing.
Right. But then she, like, again, I knew that she was going to turn, like, it just seemed too obvious to me that, like, there are too many bad guys.
Right.
And we know that the main bad guy's not turning good.
Yes.
So, like, something had to happen.
Yeah.
And like, the fact that, like, I don't know, it just seemed like between their relationship, Kenobi and her, is whatever it might have been, probably nothing, but she knew who she was.
Yeah.
It seemed too convenient to have her, like, turn back. So I think that's one thing we're gonna see in a second season is Reva doing some stuff.
Right.
But like she said, like, did I become him? And like he was like, no, you distinctly didn't.
Yeah,
right? You chose
you
not
chose
to.
not to.
And that's the thing.
You
right?
chose not to kill this kid,
Right.
just like he killed all of your friends. So that would be the opposite
Right.
of what he is. Yeah.
So kudos to you, Reva.
Yeah.
You did a good thing.
And then we see, the Tatooine lightsaber graveyard that we talked about earlier.
Yes, just left it there.
Just left it there. It'll be fine. Some sand will
Some
blow
Jawa
over.
will probably find it and sell it.
Can you imagine the Jawa ship that has all
the lightsabers? Man. They've got a whole room of lightsabers just hanging on the walls. Love
so
it.
funny. And then we see Darth on his palace on Mustafar.
Yeah, he's upset. He's talking to the Emperor. We knew we'd get a little cameo there.
We knew we'd see the Emperor, so that was pretty cool. So I did a deep dive because I was wondering, this palace, like, is he there by himself? What does he do all day? Does he just stare at the lava? And
we know there's
like,
at least
angry?
one other dude there, right? Because when in Rebels there was like a Sith acolyte or whatever who was tending to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably has some helpers and stuff.
Yeah. So it's called Fortress Vader, also known as Darth Vader's castle. Was a stronghold located on the volcanic world of Mustafar. We knew that. Once the site of the Sith temple, the fortress was built above a Sith cave that still remains, as well as the ancient Corvax fortress located underneath. So, according to the comic books, this was designed to get the create the fortress blueprints, forces to channel the force in energies from the dark side located under the castle and open the doors to the dark side. The Sith Lord Darth Vader allowed Moments design to be built using Imperial resources in his possession. Although Vader failed to open the door with his first design, after a trial and error process involving 8 more designs, a perfect design was finally built with the 9th. It was able to open the door to the dark side, but when Vader was distracted by a Mustafarian uprising, which I didn't even know there were Mustafarians living on this volcanic planet.
They must like the heat.
The heat, yeah. Mormon opened him for himself and resurrected his original body. So there were 9 of these.
Is that
castles.
from the Dr. Aphra comics?
This is it just.
I think it's from
there's in the comics.
Dr. Aphra series of comics where I think they go into the Fortress Vader and they talk about this Sith Lord that like is resurrected and stuff down there. So probably from those. So I haven't gotten a chance to read them yet, but I hear they're really good. The Dr. Aphra series.
Yeah.
So he's there. He's complaining to the Emperor. He's like, I'm gonna get him, and the Emperor's like, you seem a little messed up, bro.
Yeah. He's like, your mind, you're thinking of the wrong things right now. Once again, he's yelling at him. Basically, he's like telling him, stop it, stop being emotional, chill, bro. And that's where the episode ended.
That's it.
It should have.
I
mean, that would have been a perfect ending.
Yeah. So I mentioned the Qui-Gon thing, and I knew it was coming, and I just think like it bummed me out because they build this as a limited series, and I came to peace with the fact that it was a limited series.
Right.
It's very clearly going to a season 2.
Right.
Very clearly.
Yes.
And I think that hamstrung some of what the cool stuff they could have done. Now, I'm always happy to see more Obi-Wan Kenobi and get more of that. It just seems like some of the stuff, like the Qui-Gon thing was just such like a silly little, oh, you're here.
Yeah.
Let's get working.
It's like, oh, you're finally at peace. Now you can see me.
Yeah. And it just it seemed like a couple things were, I don't know. A couple things could have been cooler if they decided to leave this at a 6-episode arc.
Right.
I know at the beginning I was like, oh man, I want them to do more, and I still will love more Obi-Wan. But like if this was a 6-episode arc and this was the end on this, I think that it could have been a more impactful thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We did get to see Obi-Wan say hello there.
Hello there.
We got that going.
Yeah, he did say that one more time.
That was so very clearly like, hey fans, are you paying attention?
Are you paying attention?
Get ready, here it comes.
Here it comes. I said this in 2 other movies, so I'm going to say it again now. Yeah, so after we see Darth Vader, then Obi-Wan, we see Leia playing dress up. She's getting all ready.
She's got her new little holster she's putting on with no gun in it.
No gun in her holster, which was a funny callback to when he was like, when he gave her the holster, and she's like, "Well, where's the blaster?" He goes, "You're 10.
You're 10. I'm not giving you a gun."
So that was pretty funny. And she did her own.
Their relationship was pretty rad.
Yeah.
I liked their chemistry. Those two, Ewan McGregor and whatever actor played Leia.
Which I want to go back to, well, at the very end when we meet Luke. So
you think season 2 will be a Luke season?
Probably not.
Yeah, really not.
Because now we see at the end of season 1, he's moves
leaving.
further away because now he knows that the Force will take care of things and Owen's got it and whatever. So Leia gets dressed up in her white gown, her white dress, but then she puts on her work boots, and she has fingerless gloves
all the way up to her thighs.
Yeah, all the way up to her thighs. She puts on these fingerless gloves and then the holster.
Yep.
And her mom comes in and goes, "Oh."
That seems about right.
And in a good mom fashion, she's like, "Cool, good luck.
Looks good.
Looks good. Come on." And then it was cute. She's like, who are we meeting now? Like another cousin or something? And they were like, "No." And then out comes Lola, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Lola.
Lola's back.
Lola's back." Already forgot about Ben. Oh wait, Ben's here too, but I got Lola back. And it was neat how Lola fit nicely into that gun holster.
Yep. Right there.
So Lola's there with her. That's when Ben says the line like, "We should never talk about this. Don't tell anybody that we know each other." So if you listen to just that one line, 40-year-old man tells little girl, "Don't tell anybody that we know." It's a little creepy.
Yeah, you don't want anyone around when you say that. No, for sure. Oh, Ben.
And then Ben's packing up his stuff, and now he's back on Tatooine again, just like that.
And he's on his what's the animal?
EOP.
The EOP.
He's on his EOP.
He's got his fashionable snowboarder goggles.
Yep.
His hair is coiffed. He does have some really good fashion.
He does have good fashion. Yeah,
man. He looks great. He goes up to Owen and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm leaving. It's all you now.
You got it. You don't need me. You don't need me creepily staring at your adopted child here."
To which Owen goes, "Are you sure?
Are you sure? If you want to stay, you can stay."
I think you should stay, man. Here, want to meet him? Stick around.
Want to meet the kid? and then the kid's just like standing there.
Hi. He doesn't say a word, just looking at him.
Doesn't say a word. So my question is, does Star Wars, if you want your kid to be in a Star Wars movie, make sure they are the first one in line for audition day. Because apparently they just take the first kid.
You.
Boom. You. Good.
You got a Luke look about you.
There you go. Let's go. Which he was wearing the exact same outfit he was wearing when he's 18.
I can't imagine they have a lot of clothiers on Tatooine. They
no.
probably have like a clothes store, and it's like, you got like 3 options: the white jumpsuit, the blue jumpsuit, or the orange jumpsuit. I'll take the white one. It's hot on Tatooine. I want as much, reflecting off of me as possible. I don't know, that's my theory.
So I was like, okay, I get the, the Easter egg reference to, hey, this is Luke's outfit, but it's not a cartoon. It's not The Simpsons.
They can wear different
clothes. Like you can put on something else.
Apparently not.
So
they didn't have the budget for it.
They
had the original costume and it got shrunk in the wash.
That's what happened.
Like,
the Levi's shrunk. And then Owen brings him the T-15 Skyhopper that he was playing with, or T-16, whatever it was, T-16. And Owen's like, "Here, I got you a toy.
Hello there,
son.
Here, young child who I've never met. Here's a toy.
Here's a toy.
Let us go on adventures together.
And I hope you play with it for the next 8 years of your life."
Don't tell anybody.
We never met.
Do you want some candy? Oh, Ben.
Help me find my EOP. I can't find my EOP. It was around here somewhere.
Oh no. Oh gosh. Anyway,
and then we see Qui-Gon, like you said, and
it's literally just, "Hey, you're here. I've been here all along. Let's go." Which is like lame.
And man, I mean, I get it, the fact that he had to be cleansed of all of his hatred and anger for him to be able to use the Force that way. And Qui-Gon apparently was one of the Jedi who was really trying to aspire to using the Ghost Force.
So he was all into the living Force.
Yes,
was like his big thing. which is why I guess he was the one who figured out, the coming back and being one with the Force sort of a thing. But yeah, I mean, that's one of those moments where like that could have been a really awesome moment where they used him in the fight,
right?
But because they decided to do a season 2, they kind of used him as like a pivot point into the second season.
As a hey, here's Qui-Gon, so that we can go into season 2. You're gonna follow this ghost through the desert with no name. So
he said it's good to be out of the rain in the desert. You can't remember your name. There ain't no one for to.
I don't know the rest of the words.
Nah. Okay. Anyway, and that's the end of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That was
season 1.
Yes.
And here we are on the other side of it. I really hope they release an extended version of the entire thing uncut.
Okay.
I think that'd be pretty rad. I thought it was awesome.
Like the
had my issues with it, but I thought it was awesome.
Like the what was the not Marvel? Yeah, no, DC. What was his
name?
Oh,
the not the Avengers, the other one.
Yeah, the
DC Avengers.
The DC Avengers, the Justice League, the guy's cut of the Justice League. Snyder cut.
That's the one.
So so I liked it. I like they did wrap it up nicely where, throughout the 6 weeks or 5 weeks everybody was going, how is Leia not going to know that she remembers this guy type of thing and whatever. So they tried to do their best to wrap that up, and they introduced Luke to him just enough so that Luke does know, wait, that old hermit guy, Ben? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know who that is. Mm-hmm. So they did do that, and we did see a lot of good Obi-Wan action in John Jackson Miller's view. Obi-Wan never did pull out his lightsaber while he was on Tatooine.
Right.
He just buried it a lot, and so that was pretty cool. So I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I know that there's, everybody's a cynic. Everybody in Star Wars land hates everything Star Wars that wasn't done by George Lucas.
And we're Star Wars podcasters, so it's kind of our job to point out the silly things.
Yeah.
And the ridiculous things. But we can do that while still saying I thought it was great. And I want more of it.
I agree.
More exactly stuff like this. It was awesome Star Wars. It was just good content. It was new. It was different. It was interesting. Expanded on people. It focused on relationships that we cared about. The Anakin Obi-Wan relationship is one that is important.
Right. And it was fun seeing how they were both trying to hold on to that relationship, and at the same time finally like realizing like this isn't going to happen anymore. So we're done. So it was like you cut my helmet in half and we're going to break up type of thing. So
that's fair. If someone cut my helmet in half, I'd say we need to revisit our relationship.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%. It's just the way it is. Now, one thing I was thinking, when he's throwing all the rocks at Darth Vader, he was doing a good job. Maybe it was the Force and not really the armor that was doing it, but if he was throwing rocks like that at a stormtrooper, they would have been flying backwards.
Yeah, I mean, he was keeping his composure. He was standing upright still. Yeah. I mean, he was doing a little bit of this, but I'd imagine the mechanical legs help. They anchored you a little bit. They anchor you a little bit. Yeah. Maybe they're like on the bottom. We don't know. Maybe the bottom of the shoe has like a clamp.
Do you
just kind of
bolt that just goes down into the ground
in case a Force user starts throwing a bunch of stones at you?
Yeah. So do you think the armor of Darth Vader's suit is the same degree of armor as a stormtrooper would, or do you think they give the stormtroopers the cheap stuff and Darth Vader?
I think Vader's probably got the good stuff.
He's got the good stuff.
Now the big question is, do you think that Vader just has like a closet full of those things?
Yeah, and especially like the helmets, because now this is the second time we've seen his helmet get cut in half.
At the very least.
Like he's got to have another one.
He's got backups, right?
Yeah. Do you think he has a backup on a ship, or do you think he has to fly all the way back to Mustafar to get another one?
Oh God, I would hope on the ship.
Man. Yeah,
because he's got his little meditation chamber in there, right?
True. Yeah. So okay.
All right.
Yeah. So there we go.
But he does have that really uncomfortable walk back to his ship.
He does.
Right? Where he's just like, got his inhaler. Albuterol.
He's holding his breath as long as he can before taking another breath. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, so that was that. So that was Kenobi episode 6, our version, our breakdown of it.
Yeah, the next thing we got coming, I guess, is Andor. Right. So we might have like a little hiatus here because Rob is going to Disney.
I'm going to Disney, so you can find me in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, go to Galaxy's Edge next week and find Rob. If you find Rob, you win the prize.
You do win the prize.
The prize.
The prize. I'll have a Sharpie and I'll sign your autograph book.
Or your face.
Next, or your face, right next to Goofy's signature.
Love it.
Love it.
So it might be a couple weeks before we're back, but we will definitely be back soon, and we definitely have more to talk about with Andor coming, and we got a lot coming this year. So it's going to be a good time, man.
It will be a good time. Will be a very good time.
All right. So from all of us here at Bantha Milk Podcast headquarters, we have spoken.